guys. So this week I wanted to talk about feeling overwhelmed, what we can do about that, and I wanted to do a little visualization exercise and breathing exercise on bringing your childlike self. So we look at the 4-year-old mindset and excuse me, bringing that in and showing some compassion. So that was something that I wanted to look at today. So in the last few weeks, things have been kind of getting hectic, in everyone's lives. I understand Christmas is coming up, and I just kind of question whether people are feeling overwhelmed because they're too busy, or are they actually getting things done? Are they so busy that they're actually becoming quite stressed, because things aren't being checked. Your mind is still so messy, and everything that you want it to get done, is maybe only getting half your energy or even a quarter, and you're feeling drained. I know I am. My creative outlet was feeling quite flat, and I was actually doubting my ability to do a video this week, because I was just feeling very kind of overwhelmed by everything I have to do. I've got school holidays now, so I've got my daughter home. I know everyone who is a single parent can relate to having full-time care of their child. You get no breaks, and I do have a very supportive family, but sometimes it does get a little bit too much. You just want a breather. So I did a bit of a meditation exercise before doing this video, just to give myself some confidence, and also to just be a bit more zen before I did the video, because I started a video before and then my daughter started carrying on, so I had to stop the video and start a new one, obviously. Okay, so I wrote a few notes down because my mind's a bit crazy because of being so busy lately. And something I noticed is that when you're on hyper alert, you don't actually take in the same information that you would normally. So that's something to think about. If you're trying to assist someone, or if you're trying to get help yourself, just remember to focus on the most prominent problem at that point in time, so that you can assist the person in the best possible way. Because when they're in hyper alert stage, they're not actually going to take the information in if you're giving them, multiple solutions or life-changing ideas. And you might feel like they're not listening to you, or they're not appreciating you, and they might feel like even more overwhelmed because they're not actually getting what they need in that moment, which is just one possible solution, maybe a breathing exercise, maybe a grounding exercise, to get them through that moment, and then move on to something like a possible solution or some problem solving strategies for the problems at hand. Okay, so I looked at busy versus productive. So when we're feeling overwhelmed, I did a write-up at one point on workplace health and safety strategies we could use. I know this sounds quite odd, but if you change, so the workplace health and safety strategies are remove, substitute, engineer, and PPE, which is protective equipment. So I look at that in life, right? And you look at removing things. So have you got too much on your plate? Is there anything you can remove? Excuse me. Are there toxic people that are causing you unneeded stress? Can you remove them? Then the next one, substitute. Could you perhaps substitute the time that you're giving, or could you substitute a bad habit for a healthier one? Maybe, going for walks regularly, as opposed to getting up and having your morning coffee and cigarette, if you're trying to quit C's or something like that. So engineer is changing your surroundings. So if you're going, if you're in recovery and you're going to a place where there are people who are still actively using, it would be really important to change your surroundings, and that's something that we always talk about in recovery. We talk about changing your surroundings, people, places, and things, right? So I think that's really, really important to look at. What are you surrounding yourself with? Usually we'll attract the people that we are right now. So if you're in a really bad stage in your life, perhaps don't go looking for a relationship, because changing your surroundings is a about finding who you are as well, and knowing what you want, and knowing what you want to surround yourself with. And so PPE, we put that down to protecting yourself, right? So PPE is protective equipment. So it's supposed to protect you. So what tools can you learn to protect yourself, you know, and help you kind of better your life? What tools can you bring into tomorrow with you? For me, you know, this year I did some meditation, mindfulness, CBT stuff, cognitive behavioral therapy. I looked at ACT, so you can get a book on that called The Happiness Trap by Russ Harris. So that's acceptance and commitment therapy. I just did a course on NVC, nonviolent communication. So that's a needs-based system, and it's all very, very you know, building for your life, and getting a foundation, and knowing what you want. You know, it really helps to educate yourself on what you want, and bring some tools in there. Okay, so back to what I was saying about your 4-year-old self. You know, are we being compassionate to ourselves? Are we showing ourselves kindness? Are we just focusing on autopilot, you know, so we're not actually bringing anything new to the table? Are we learning new things? Because that actually breaks the cycle of autopilot, especially when you're in a trauma stage. You're going through just looking at the same things, doing the same things. And if you are going through a hypersensitive moment where you've been triggered by a moment from your past, and you're experiencing trauma flashbacks or whatever it is, you know, mass anxiety, panic attacks, it's important to kind of address that, and don't ignore it, you know, because anxiety is there. Anxiety is the voice that has been you know, closed up, that hasn't been spoken to, that hasn't been addressed. It needs to be heard. So that's really important to reach out, especially at Christmas time. It's such a difficult time for some people, especially the people who don't have families, and that's something we can be grateful for as well, what we do have. Okay, guys, so I'm going to start the exercise now. So I'd like you to close your eyes, and I would like you to imagine a moment in your past that was stressful, or that left you feeling wanting, you know, that your needs weren't being met for love and safety and affection, or whatever it is that was lacking. I want you to envision yourself as a 4-year-old. And I want you now, yourself right now, to be that 4-year-old's parent. I want you to take them out. I want you to take them Christmas shopping, or whatever it is that you would like to have that need met. I want you to take them out for a beautiful day on the beach, or shopping, or envision what's going on for you right now. What can you envision? What's coming up for you? What are you guys doing together? Is your, you know, current self putting their arm around your 4-year-old self? Are they telling them that, you know, it's words of affirmation? They're telling them that they're amazing, and that they're a good child, you know, that they are well behaved, that they have fantastic manners. The store clerk is smiling and thinking, what a great little family duo. You know, what's happening here? What do you feel that parent needs to say to you to make it okay? Because sometimes we need to mourn the need. That need that wasn't met, we need to mourn it, and we need to meet it ourselves. And a visualization exercise is a great way to do that. So I want you guys to sit in that moment and think up how you could have that need met, you know. Okay, so now we're going to go into a breathing exercise. So guys, I'd like you to close your eyes. I would like you to take a few deep breaths. So remember, it's 4 seconds in and 8 seconds out. So 4 seconds in and 8 seconds out. And while you're doing that, I want you to imagine that 4-year-old self that didn't have their needs met, and I want you to breathe really heavily. And I want you to think of your parent self now. I want you to think about what you have, what you're grateful for. Think of 3 things that pop up. What are you grateful for? Keep breathing. Keep focusing on that breathing. Now, it depends on what type of person you are, what personality you have, to what's going to come up for you. Just be grateful for those things that maybe you haven't noticed. You know, have you noticed how your toes can twinkle because you have them? Have you noticed how your calves can get a cramp some days? That pain reminds you that you have calves, that you have legs. You know, have you noticed that there's food in the fridge? Maybe there isn't, but maybe you have someone you can call or talk to get that food, to get that need met. Have you noticed how, you know, your hair glistens in the sunlight? You know, have you noticed how even if you don't have the fanciest clothes, someone might say, wow, what an amazing, you know, outfit that you're wearing. Have you noticed the effort that you put in being appreciated by someone? Let's think on that, and let's take some deep breaths and just ball that up, all of that gratitude, ball it up and put it within us. Let's not give it to other people and not to ourselves. Just remember what we do for others and the energy that we put out into this world is important, and it is supposed to be something that makes us feel good because it's a good deed, you know. But also remember, guys, not to give too much of yourselves. You know, giving is fantastic when it's within reason. If you're feeling overwhelmed this Christmas time, just remember that you need to take some time out for you. That could be some breathing, that could be some time in nature, that could be some quality time with family, that could be pleasurable experiences or learning new things. Those things are ways to, it's hot over here by the way, guys, I had a little mustache going on. Those things are a way to rewire your brain. So rewiring your brain comes from pleasurable experiences, learning new things. You can obviously use medication, which is the last one, and forming new relationships, so healthy relationships with people who obviously promote all of those positive endorphins within you. Learning new things is fantastic because it reweeds your you know, your brain, so that's a fantastic thing to look at. If you guys you know, want to look at some basic neurology, it goes into that. Obviously do not have qualifications to go into that, but that's exactly what I read. So anyway, guys, I'm hoping that you're feeling a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit better. I actually got over this hump, and I did the video. I did it, and I'm feeling like, you know, I can tick that box that I overcame the hesitation and the autopilot that was telling me, well, you always just quit things. So I'm really proud of myself, and you guys should be proud of yourselves too, because we just went through something today together. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.